to share the link, which is why we're going through the extra step of doing this on Zoom today. Okay, I think we are live and recording. Hey everyone, thanks for coming to the Lunch and Learn. My name is Julie Yelnick and I'm an acupuncturist in Illinois. So some of the information that I have to share with you today, I need to start with like a little list of disclaimers, okay? One being that I'm in the state of Illinois, and I know now that I'm not doing this in person at our clinic, we're doing this online, so it's gonna be shared out of the state. Some of you are here from other states, right? Anyone from probably Iowa is on right now, I imagine, right? Let me know, because I need to make sure that I keep getting that reminder that not all of the regulations that I'm gonna talk about are gonna be applicable to you if you are out of the state of Illinois. All right, so that's number one. Number two disclaimer is that I'm not a medical doctor, I'm a licensed acupuncturist. So in the state of Illinois, our scope of practice does include natural medicine modalities such as herbal extracts and supplements and some of the things that I'm going to talk about today. And finally, this is not going to be limited to essential oils. There's a couple other things in here for pain management naturally that you can be doing and should be doing, and you can tell your loved ones to be doing, that are going to be helpful and supportive of your body's inflammatory processes, healing processes, etc., that are not only limited to essential oils, although we will talk about some essential oils as well. Okay, does anyone want to start with any questions in the chat that I want to make sure I can address while we're talking? Kind of main, questions or concerns. What do you want to hear the most about? And then I'll try to make sure that I talk about all those things in the proportion that you want me to. I'm going to share my screen too. And so I'm going to be following along with the handout that I use when I do this in-person class. And I will also provide that file, that document afterwards in the, well, somehow, I'll give it to you somehow. So don't worry about every word. And that is my third and final disclaimer for today. Some of these words are really difficult to pronounce, okay? I read these words like every day and I still sometimes mispronounce them out loud. So it's a friendly zone. And if you have a question about something and it's like a hard to spell word, that's okay. Just type it in the chat, try your best, and we'll all know what you mean, okay? And if I say the wrong thing, forgive me as well. Okay. So let me share my screen now and get the handout up so we can see the words, the questions that we're going to talk about. Okay, whoops, someone in Facebook has a question. Okay, let's just turn it all the way down. Oh, no, just a comment. Okay. All right, so let's get the handout going. Share my screen, just this one. Okay. Rebecca, we have a raised hand. Let me get to your question. Don't need that screen. Oh, that was an accident. Okay. That was an easy question, Rebecca. Thanks for your question. Okay. Documents. There we go. All right. Can everyone see the outline? Is this appropriate size? I know sometimes it's being shared on different size screens, so it's not going to be super large if you're on a mobile device, but I think it's even large enough if you're on your phone. Okay. So what is pain? And when I do this class, I always start out with this because pain is not just a physical thing. And I think that's important to remind people because we tend in Western medicine, they tend to dissociate or separate the idea of physical pain in the body versus emotional pain or psychological pain otherwise. In Chinese medicine, in traditional Chinese medicine, which is my training, we would never separate those two things. We see the body, mind, and spirit all as one all the time. And so if you have chronic pain, for example, you will eventually be more predisposed for things like depression or anxiety as those things start to affect other areas of your life. And it becomes a pain cycle, a depression cycle. So we see body and mind as always very interconnected. And we have to put something in there to break that cycle so that there's some sort of something that can get in there and break the cycle. And whether that's acupuncture needles or a turmeric supplement or some deep blue rub on something that hurts, that's going to be different for each person. And the point of this webinar is to kind of explain the different options that you have to get in there and break that cycle of pain. At the end, I will give you a little bit of information too about acute pain, like, oh, I just have this pain today. So we have different suggestions for that type of pain. Most of what we're going to cover today, though, is chronic pain. So chronic pain is something that, and this is defined slightly differently across the different medical fields, but usually something that's been bothering you for more than 3 to 6 months would definitely qualify as a chronic pain. It just means that you've had it for a long time. It's not just like, oops, I cut my arm today and now it hurts. It's something that's bothersome, more like arthritis that you've had for years or something to that effect. Okay, so first option, turmeric. And I'm going to show you as many of these things as I can also in the little screen to the top. So turmeric is a root, and you can turn that root into several different forms to use it as a person wanting to use it. So turmeric, the root, the plant, it has a lot of properties that are anti-inflammatory, that are calming and help soothe different discomforts that you might have. So turmeric is most commonly found in a powdered supplement. Who here has taken or is taking a turmeric powdered supplement, like a capsule that looks dry, you swallow it? Anybody taking that? That's pretty common. So probably most of you are. This is like a good test of if you can hear me and if I'm like live or if there's a nice long pause between what I'm saying and what you all are hearing. In my practice, at least, I know that a lot of patients are taking turmeric powdered supplements, and that's giving some people good results, okay? It's giving some other people not great results. And one of the reasons is that at least one of the active ingredients or active compounds in turmeric is curcumin. And these different curcumin extracts, or the molecules that make up the active ingredients in turmeric, they tend to be fat soluble. So that means that if you're not taking that powdered turmeric supplement with a fat, then your body's not really able to absorb and utilize the turmeric, or some of the active components in the turmeric, I should say. So you might not be getting the results that you want if you're not using the turmeric powdered supplements with fat. All right, so that's one thing. Can I listen later? Yes, this is going to be recorded. So any of our Powerfully Essential team members will be able to just watch this video in our Essential Oil Place Facebook group later, whenever. And then anyone who's not, if you've accessed this through the Zoom link, you'll be able to get the Zoom recording. Great question, Mom. Okay, so turmeric is also available in essential oil form, okay? And because we know that we use doTERRA oils because of their quality and their potency, turmeric is going to be standardized by doTERRA. So when you use turmeric essential oil, you can apply it topically, and you would do that with a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil. And then you can take your turmeric oil, oh so smoky. If you like bonfires, you might like the smell of turmeric. And you can apply 1 drop with some fractionated coconut oil to a particular area where you might always have discomfort on a regular basis. So apply that once or twice a day as needed. If you would like to take this internally, see how on this handout I'll always have internal versus topical usage for most things. If you want to take turmeric internally, first of all, you know that you can do so because on the side of the bottle it says supplement fact panel. For internal use, dilute 1 drop in a 4-ounce glass of water. Okay, and it tells you can do that. So that's how we know we can ingest doTERRA's oils you can ingest some of the oils. They'll have a supplement fact panel on the side that tell you that you can and how much water to dilute it with. So why would you want to use it internally versus topically? Primarily because if you use oils internally, then you're getting a more systemic approach to your relief. So if you want to put a drop directly under your tongue, you can do that. It's going to be very, very spicy, and it might be too strong for some of you. But you can do it, and you'll get what's called sublingual absorption, which is a very fast way to get something into your bloodstream and get a pretty quick systemic response. Another way to take this internally is to put it in a veggie capsule, which are these little empty, squishy capsules that doTERRA makes, and you can get other places too, and you can just pull it apart and then put a couple drops of the turmeric essential oil inside, close it back up, and swallow it like a capsule so you don't have to taste that delicious, spicy, smoky flavor of turmeric, which not all of you will love. Some of you will. It'll be fun. Okay, so that's turmeric. And again, internal is going to give you more of a systemic, full body set of relief versus putting it on topically on just one location where you're having a problem. Okay, so topical use is usually for more of one area. Internal usage is usually more for whole body issues or several places on the body issues. So that's turmeric stuff. Okay, moving on. Any questions about turmeric? I'm surprised there wasn't a lot of chatter about turmeric because that's the most common one that I think people have used and are using. You can look for different strengths of it. The good part about using the essential oil is that we know exactly every single lot and batch number, and you can go online and scan your QC, is that what it's called, code, and you can type in your batch and lot number, and you can see the exact chemical analysis of every single bottle of oil is going to be exactly the same, so that you know you're getting the right dosage. So dosage we'll talk about a little bit more with the CBD products in a minute. But dosage is very important, and having something standardized is very important so that you know that your dosage is going to give you the expected results every time, as opposed to just some of the time. Okay, let's see. Ravi said, I hesitated to use turmeric. Is that because of the strong smoky smell? Not your thing? Amanda says, does turmeric bring down inflammation in the skin itself, like reducing redness, or is internal the best for bringing it down overall redness? Amanda, that's a good question because that's not usually the type of thing that people are using turmeric for. But if you look at some of the studies done on turmeric, they're not all about like pain and discomfort. There's some that are about facial skin improvement. So in that way, we know that the anti-inflammatory properties of turmeric are also going to be good for things like skin redness or inflammation of the skin. So I would try both ways and see what works best for you. So I don't know if you've tried topical, but if you're going to do topical, I'd go extremely diluted on the facial skin, like not even a full drop, just maybe touch the top of the bottle, and then apply that with enough fractionated coconut oil to cover the facial skin. Have you tried it systemically where you are taking a supplement of it every day? Sometimes we forget that if you're, especially, I know because most of you are doTERRA members like I am, that some of our other supplements also contain turmeric already, especially these two. So Alpha CRS, which is one of our 3 Lifelong Vitality Pack supplements, already has turmeric in it. Okay, it's basically like an anti-inflammatory powerhouse, right? So it has all sorts of things that are known to be anti-inflammatory, from green tea leaf to pomegranate extracts, pineapple extracts, turmeric, grapeseed extract, all sorts of things, right? So we're already getting some turmeric from our Lifelong Vitality supplements, and that is getting it in there systemically. And then if inflammation is really your chief, main concern in life when selecting supplements, then the Deep Blue Polyphenol Complex, which is part of our Deep Blue pain relieving line, also has a ton of turmeric in it. Okay, and some people say, well, what about the curcumin? Is that in there too? That is just one of the compounds that is naturally found in turmeric, the root. So both are in here because we source our turmeric our curcumin via the entire turmeric root powdered. So that's in here, 250 milligrams per serving. All right, amongst other things that are also very anti-inflammatory, like frankincense and resveratrol, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of ways to expose yourselves to turmeric, and that's why it becomes one of the most popular ways to try to address all over discomfort or inflammation. Okay, so, Diane just asked can you take turmeric at the same time as the polyphenol complex, which is the blue bottle I was just holding, for better absorption? Absolutely. Okay, and that's something I've been looking into recently because the absorption of turmeric and its constituents is very specific. Again, part of it is fat soluble, part of it is not. Sometimes you can add other things besides fat to make the different active ingredients in turmeric more bioavailable. Things like black pepper, other forms. When you take the whole supplement, the entire powdered root is in here, which gives you the whole plant's benefits of absorbing it. And then if you took a drop of turmeric essential oil at the same time, boom, powerhouse of absorption just happened. Okay, so it's a great idea to take them at the same time, to take them together. Or if you're taking a powdered turmeric supplement of any kind, to add a drop of turmeric essential oil in there is like blowing up the power, okay, helping with absorption and everything. I accidentally wave my hands around a lot when I do webinars, and I know that looks crazy and magical, so I'll try to stop that. Okay. Did I miss any questions on that? Okay, take the supplements and the other supplement. Do I still need the extra turmeric? Yeah, so Robbie, I think I just answered that one too, right? So it really does help with absorption to take the essential oil and the powdered turmeric at the same time, which is really something I've just kind of put together in the research because it wasn't very clear to me earlier. Okay. So that's turmeric, and that's a big part of the show, right? And then moving on from turmeric, Deep Blue is just a kind of a reminder that we already have Deep Blue Rub, which is a very pain-relieving blend of essential oils put into a non-petroleum, non-toxic, thereby, lotion base that is very long-lasting. And so I've seen a lot of patients at our office, I know, switch to this from other pain-relieving topical things because it's very, very long-lasting. And obviously, we don't want to be reapplying like pain creams all day, right? Every hour. So Deep Blue Rub, very good at topical, targeted, specific local issues. And internal, we already talked about. So the Deep Blue line of products also has the internal supplement, which I just talked about with all of the frankincense and turmeric and green tea and all those things in it too. And that's good to take every day if you have like arthritis that hurts every day. If you're maybe like a marathon runner and you know you're only going to hurt for like a week during the top of your training part or a couple days a week when you do the most of your training, then you can take it the day before, the day after, the day of only, rather than every day. So it's really up to you and what your needs are. Okay, so that's Deep Blue. And then Copaiba, let's go down to you. You are one of my favorites. Okay, Copaiba, so good for you. Who's used Copaiba? Again, I know so many people on this webinar are doTERRA members, so you have Copaiba, right? We have it now in 2 different forms. Internal use and topical use are both possible with Copaiba essential oil. So what the heck is Copaiba? Another one of those slightly difficult to pronounce words, but Copaiba is sourced from a tree in the Amazon rainforest in South America. It has properties similar to other trees, which are strengthening and good for overall stability. It's good for emotional uses like that, and it's also good for physical uses like physical pain. So how do I use Copaiba? You can use it internally in the form of the essential oil. If you don't like the taste of it in your mouth, for that good sublingual, under the tongue, immediate bloodstream use, then you can use the soft gel where they've taken a couple drops of it and put it into a soft gel. And then you're just taking like a little capsule, okay? And you're swallowing it instead of tasting the oil itself. Both of those are internal uses, but the oral usage of it, where you're putting it right under your tongue, again, it's gonna have that fast absorption, sublingual absorption that the soft gel is not gonna have, because the soft gel has to go all the way down into your stomach, let the stomach acid destroy it, and then start absorbing into the bloodstream through the digestive process. It's got a longer way to go through your body processes to get to your pain relieving goal than the oil under the tongue does. And that's kind of just the difference in the internal uses that you have to choose from. You can also use this topically. So if you have the oil, you can use a drop with some, again, fractionated coconut oil or some other full fat carrier oil that you can apply to your area of trouble. If you have more like a fibromyalgia or more like a total osteoarthritis presentation, then you're going to want something more internal, because you're going to want the systemic relief from head to toe. Okay, so that's Copaiba. Why is Copaiba so awesome? This is going to bring us into the next 2 things and the last 2 things on the chronic pain section of the handout, which is a big discussion about the CB receptors in your body. Okay, so in order to really explain why we love Copaiba so much, we have to explain a little bit about the endocannabinoid system in your body. Hold on, there's a question. How many drops in the Copaiba capsules? I've seen a couple of different answers from doTERRA on this, and it looks like about 2.5. So some had said 2 to summarize, and some had said 3 to summarize, but it looks like the actual answer is like 2.5 drops, I think, is the final answer on that. But I can go back and look. That was a couple of weeks ago when I looked that up. So it's about 2 to 3 drops. Okay, so your body naturally has a lot of good nervous system pathways set up to sense pain and to register pain in the brain, and then to try to shut down pain for you. So the natural process in the body is when something's wrong and something gets hurt, you get inflammation, and that's good. That's the natural body pain. That's the response of the body to go to that area that's been hurt and heal it. help your body heal itself. That's what the human body is designed to do, okay? So when we have a little inflammation with an acute injury, like, oh, I just hurt my elbow on my desk, it's going to get inflamed. That process of inflammation is natural. But we don't want prolonged inflammation or non-productive inflammation after the acute phase is over. That inflammation should clear the heck out of town, right? And get out of there and let you go back to feeling like your elbow works again. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes the injury is too great for your body to heal on its own. Sometimes you need interventions. So when we talk about the pain receptors in the body, the central nervous system, which is basically your brain and spinal cord, has something called CB receptor 1 in it. Okay, so CB receptor 1 is very brain oriented. So the brain is going to be very involved whenever we talk about any substance that activates your CB1 receptors. And that's going to be mostly cannabis and its active ingredients, THC. Is that showing? Yes. Okay. So THC is one active, naturally occurring component of the cannabis plant. And THC greatly affects your CB1 receptors, which again is in the central nervous system. So that's why it so much affects the brain and has psychoactive properties and things that we associate with like that, right? So everybody on board so far? Yes. Okay. THC is the active, naturally occurring part of cannabis that affects the brain in psychoactive ways. It also affects the body in other ways, and THC. Okay, so the whole cannabis plant is really good for a variety of reasons. It has multiple active compounds, not just THC, but other ones too, which I'm going to talk about. And they, in the whole plant, they can thereby affect not only the brain and have psychoactive effects, but they can also be very good for pain relief, for sleep support, for anxiety and mood balancing, PTSD issues like those. There's a lot of good applications for medical marijuana, which is cannabis. The whole plants are the whole part of the plant. And it contains not just THC, but other active compounds as well. So some of the other active compounds then go back up to CBD oil or cannabidiol, which is what CBD stands for. If I highlight this, can you see that? No. Maybe. I think there's a delay. Hold on. That'd be helpful, right? Oh, yeah, you can. Cool. Maybe. Okay. So going back up then from cannabis to cannabidiol or CBD. Who's heard of this and tried this? Anybody? This is like the second most popular thing after turmeric. And in fact, I would argue it's become more popular. So cannabidiol or CBD is just one active component of the cannabis plant. So CBD oil is like an extract of the cannabis plant. Okay, rather than using medical marijuana as a whole thing, as a whole plant part, you're taking an extract out of it called CBD or cannabidiol, and that does not affect your CB1 receptors. So it doesn't have much effect at all on your brain, okay, in the way that we think of with the THC that we already talked about, which is very, very hooks on to your CB1 receptors in the brain, in the central nervous system, and has all of those psychoactive effects. So cannabidiol or CBD usually comes in CBD oil, right? Is that how most of you have used it? And again, this is where Illinois law is going to be different than everybody else's law, or a lot of states are going to have different laws on this, I should say, and versus federal. So in Illinois, if you're in Illinois with me, it is totally legal, yes, legal, to use a CBD product, because the assumption is, or the law is, that your CBD products in Illinois have to be less than 0.3% THC. And what does that mean? Okay, this gets confusing, right? So if you're using CBD oil, you're thinking, oh, hey, this is not containing THC. I'm using this because I don't want to fail a drug test. I'm using this because it's not going to give me psychoactive properties, right? That's why you're all using CBD products, right? But the reality is that in the extraction process of the CBD component from the cannabis, you're going to get a little trace THC in there by default, almost always. So some products actually contain a measurable percent of THC also when they're labeled just CBD, pure 100% CBD, only CBD. It's still going to have trace amounts of THC. Okay, do I think that's bad for you medically? No. But for some of you who are intentionally seeking out CBD products because they're only affecting your body and not psychoactive effects, surprise, you might have a little THC in those products, okay? And that can give you a variety of results based on, you know, how much snuck through. Sometimes companies don't test every single batch, every single product that they're putting out to market. Sometimes they're giving you an estimate, like we estimate that 0.3% THC is in our products. And this is the big issue that I have with CBD. I don't think it's bad for people if it's a good quality CBD product. However, when I went on Amazon this morning to do a little test for you, there are over 3,000 CBD products on Amazon alone, okay? That is not even like counting some of the better brands that don't sell on Amazon or anything else that you can get anywhere. There's literally thousands upon thousands of brands and products of CBD right now on the marketplace. And that is why I don't recommend it very often, because I don't have time for that. Okay, I can't go through and research every single company and product and what their cleanliness record is, what their purity and potency record is. That's very, very time consuming. Okay, and that falls on the consumer, because in the United States, we don't have FDA regulation over supplements or over things like this. So they're not doing it. It falls on the consumer to do it. Okay, and I don't have time for that. And I've seen some products that have been tested that have tested for higher than 0.3% THC. I've seen some CBD products fail purity testing for synthetic additives. I've seen a whole host of issues that lead me to not care to try to use very many, if any, CBD products or to recommend them to patients hardly at all. Okay, and why? Because I don't need to. So Copaiba is what I'm going to highlight next. Okay, Copaiba, which we started out talking about in this section, soft gels or the essential oil. Copaiba actually activates your CB2 receptors, which is what CBD oil is activating for people, better than CBD oil does, okay? So I know that's hard to get your head around, because we have named these body systems things like endocannabinoid receptor pathway 1, endocannabinoid receptor pathway 2. We've named them things that have the root word of cannabis, right? But that's not the only way that you can activate those pathways. Any substance that activates those pathways in your nervous system counts as a cannabinoid, okay? It does. So you don't have to have any part of cannabis involved, the plant, the marijuana plant. It doesn't have to be involved in any way, shape, or form for you to take a substance like Copaiba oil and have it activate the CB1 or mostly CB2 receptors, I should say. So the good part about the CB2 system is that that's all the pain stuff. The CB1 pathway is all the brain stuff and the psychoactive stuff. The CB2 pathway is outside of the brain, and it's stuff like arthritis pain or anxiety or sleep problems or all sorts of other things that are good that we want help with. Anything that needs to be soothed or relaxed or loosened up or balanced down, that's the CB2 pathway, and that is what Copaiba activates better than cannabis products do, okay? That's the point I want you to take home today. Copaiba essential oil from doTERRA activates your CB2 pathways better than cannabis products do of any kind, whether it's medical marijuana, CBD oil, anything. Okay, so that's pretty awesome, right? Because once you know that Copaiba oil actually takes care of all the problems better than any sort of cannabis product does, you don't even have to go there. You don't even have to figure out what your state laws are. You don't have to figure out if you should try CBD versus medical marijuana. You don't have to go there at all, because you've got something that's going to activate those pathways even better. Help with pain relief, help with inflammation, help with sleep, help with anxiety. These are the main issues that people are turning to cannabis products for, and you could simply do it with Copaiba and not have to go there at all, okay? So as a practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine, I appreciate and like the benefits of all the plants that naturally exist in the world. So I do research cannabis. We do in Illinois have something called the medical marijuana program. We do have to have a medical marijuana card from a doctor that gives you a diagnosis, and then you have to apply for an application on the Illinois state website. It's a whole big process, but we do have a program for it in the state of Illinois. And I don't know what everyone else's state has, so I can't answer that right now. So you can look into cannabis, of course, as another plant that has its own set of properties. Cannabis will have all of its active components intact. So it will have your CBD component, it will have your THC component, and it will have another component that is what is the active ingredient in Copaiba, which is called beta-caryophyllene, BCP, yeah, for short, BCP. And that is a third active component of the cannabis plant or of other plants that is very effective for pain relief and activating your CB2 receptors. And that's what makes our Copaiba oil work so well, is that third active component that nobody really talks about. They only talk about THC, the psychoactive one, or CBD, the more physical pain relieving one. They don't talk about BCP very often, and that's the one that is 60% of Copaiba oil is made up of BCP. So it's very effective for pain and relaxation of emotions and of the body. And then you don't have to look at the cannabis plant at all in any way, shape, or form if you don't want to, okay? So that is the chronic pain section, and that's why Copaiba is my go-to. I've recommended Copaiba to more patients than I've recommended any CBD product to, or even medical marijuana itself, the full cannabis products themselves. So you can see what works best for you. You can see what is legal in your state, I guess you should start with, and then you can go from there for your pain management. So that's the chronic pain portion of the show. Before I go on and end with the more acute pain things, I want to go through questions about cannabis, CBD, THC, Copaiba. It's like a three-pronged method of attack. Does anyone have any questions about these three that we just talked about? I'm going to open up both chats so I can see all of them. Waving, people are waving, people are thumbsing upping. Thank you. Hi. Thanks for coming. Okay, this chat, anyone else in this chat have questions? No, okay. So everyone totally understands Copaiba oil and why it works. Everyone totally understands that it activates your systems better than cannabis does. That's pretty exciting. That's your takeaway, okay? That's your takeaway. Okay, so then let's talk about other types of pain. So sometimes it's not chronic, like arthritic pain that's bothering you so much. Sometimes it is more of an acute pain, so like a wound pain. If you get in a car accident, you're gonna have pain for several days or weeks or even months, right? So we need to know what to do with other pains that are not so much of the chronic variety. 2 Copaiba soft gels each night for sleep, says Diane. Yeah, I use 1 Copaiba soft gel and 1 Serenity soft gel at night before I go to bed. Or I take a drop of Copaiba oil and put it under my tongue before bed. Very helpful for relaxation and good sleep. So many of us adults don't take care of ourselves enough. We have too much stress in our lives and not enough well care, and we have problems sleeping. So those are some good sleep strategies. Okay, so let's run through some of these. These are going to be pretty similar names that keep coming up. Things like Copaiba, frankincense that we've already talked about, the deep blue polyphenol complex that we've already talked about, the deep blue rub topical application that we've already talked about. So you can use some of those same pain tools for acute pain as you are for chronic pain, but in slightly different ways and with some other important things added in. Okay. I like it under my tongue, so 2 drops morning and night, said Brenda. Yes. Yeah, and Copaiba is not just good for sleep. Like I use it primarily for sleep at night, but you can also use it during the day, of course, for anxiety, for mood support, for obviously pain relief and any other inflammation-based issue, which is pretty much the root of all modern disease, inflammation at some level. Add bone nutrient to it. Right, of course. This is not like your full supplement picture of what your body probably needs on a daily basis, but it is the part that relates mostly to inflammation and therefore different pains. Okay. Oh, we have chat over here. Nope, we don't. Okay. So for wound pain, this is my favorite example for wound pain. Not my favorite example. It's terrible, but my most specific example for wound pain is when we were renovating our house. We were staying in a room, a storage unit practically, attached to our house, and there was a rickety cabinet. And I told my son, who was 6 at the time or 5, I said, do not play with that cabinet. Do not open the cabinet doors because they're not secure and we're going to demo them pretty soon and they're going to fall on your head. And what do you think he did? He opened the cabinet and the door came off, and the cabinet door came off and just cracked him right in the head. And immediately goose egg is forming, right? / goose egg. So what did I do? I ran and grabbed my helichrysum, which is AKA liquid stitches, and I put a drop of that right into the wound. I grabbed my lavender and I put a drop of that right into the wound, which is very antimicrobial and very calming, which is what my main issue was with that for him. And then frankincense, a drop of that right into the wound. Okay, so 3 drops of essential oil went right into the wound to help. In Chinese medicine, the property of frankincense is called engendering the flesh, which is a very fancy way of saying like help wound heal faster, right? So we want to help the wounds heal faster, and we want to have a lot of antimicrobial activity at the site of any open wound on our skin. So all of those things have all of those properties, and that's why I put 1 drop of each. Had we had copaiba oil out at the time, I would have grabbed that and put a drop of that in there in addition to or instead of the frankincense. So frankincense and copaiba have so many similar properties as far as why we use them. Chemically, they're not that similar really, but why we use them are very similar reasons. Anti-inflammatory, pain relieving, relaxing. Those are the things we go to for those oils. And I'm just going to say, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have frankincense, because you absolutely should. And frankincense has a lot of other uses outside of just its pain inflammation stuff. But copaiba is about 1/3 of the cost, maybe closer to half, but you know, like 1/3 to 1/2 the cost of frankincense. And it activates those specific pain pathways so much more specifically that I've been using copaiba a lot more in areas where I used to use frankincense for. So that's a great addition to that picture now for topical use or internal use. So for wound pain, had it been me who got the cabinet dropped on my head, I would have been doing all those topical things as well as taking copaiba soft gels for systemic release of that anti-inflammatory activity and that pain relieving activity. I would have taken a drop of copaiba and put that sucker right under my tongue for instant sublingual absorption. And then perhaps also I would have probably added in some of our Deep Blue Polyphenol Complex, which has all of those pain relieving anti-inflammatory properties, just to get everything back down to where it was more comfortable to live and wait for your wounds to naturally heal themselves. Okay, headaches is another common category. Topically, you can certainly use the Deep Blue Rub products or the Deep Blue Roll-On Essential Oil Blend products because they are consisting of things that are known to be pain relieving. Past Tense is a blend of oils called the Tension Blend, and this has a variety of different oils than the Deep Blue. So you might find for head tension and soreness of the back of the neck even that the Past Tense blend works better for you than Deep Blue, and some will find the opposite. So if you love cilantro, you're gonna love this blend. Rub it right on. You can put it right on and rub it in. All right, so that's that. And internal use also is important for headaches. So again, you can do any of the copaiba methods that we've been talking about or a drop of frankincense under the tongue as well. Anything coming up question-wise related to these issues? No, okay. Last, this is actually a really common question. We see this a lot in our essential oil place, right? In our team user group. What can we use for babies who have teething pain, and what can we use for adults who have jaw pain? Okay. For those of you who know me, know that I went through the most painful root canal process of imagination. Oh, it was so terrible. Like it was like a nightmare. Okay. Like 2 months ago. And it was so bad that it led me to put an entire jaw section on this for pain relief. Okay. So internal use, again, you're going to see copaiba coming up a lot, soft gels or sublingually. A frankincense under the tongue, also good. Topically right on the jaw where the pain is. And this is especially recommended for the teething babies. Question, put a blend of lavender, any of the fur oils that you have, and frankincense in a roller. You could definitely add copaiba to that now too, and just roll it right on the outside of the jaw. And that is great for teething and jaw pain. Deep Blue Rub, also good for topical use for jaw pain. I was putting that Deep Blue Rub on, I was popping those Deep Blue polyphenol capsules, and I was popping the copaiba soft gels like it was my job. Because it's a lot of pain when you have something in your jaw, right? It's like you can't get away from pain that's in your head. Ugh, it's terrible. Okay, so in conclusion, all of these tools that you have are tools that you can empower yourself with to have in your house. All of these things are in the home, right? I have them all in the cabinet so that whenever something like this comes up, I'm ready, okay? There's no point in kind of knowing what to do but not having the thing in your house, because then the problem is when you get the pain, you don't have the thing, right? And that's not going to help you out. Okay, so make sure that you're prepared for anything and empowered to handle a lot of issues in your home that will arise in an average family or office setting. Have these things that we've talked about ready to roll. Also, other things that are allowing you to manage pain naturally would be acupuncture, which obviously is my favorite thing. Acupuncture is one of the main modalities of treatment in traditional Chinese medicine, which is my scope of practice. Acupuncture allows you to get instantaneous pain relief for chronic and acute pain. More acute pain and some chronic pain, or opposite, let's just say all pain, will generally require you to get repeated acupuncture treatments in order to have sustained relief, but it does stimulate the healing process in the body. So things that we didn't think were possible 20 years ago, like regenerating nerve cells, bone cells, things like that, you know, again, 25 years ago, a doctor would have told you those things aren't really possible, we don't think. Now we're seeing in studies that acupuncture and other things are helping the body regenerate those types of tissues. So it's never too late to try to slow, stop, or even try to reverse the processes of degeneration in the body, which is what arthritis is, for example. Chiropractic care, also very important. If something is out of structure, out of alignment in your back or in any part of any of your bones, any of your joints, a chiropractor is specifically trained to put that structurally back in place and help your body get more alignment and core strength to keep things aligned so that it doesn't slip out and cause you pain. Or a weakness in some part of your body that allows you to be more predisposed to injury and then, of course, experience pain. So a regular visit to a chiropractor is a great idea. I know we have some on the line with us today. Shout out to all my chiropractic friends on the team. Hey, girl. I see at least one. Okay. Sleep is super important. If you are not sleeping, your body is not able to spend the energy that it needs to repair itself. So most of our reparative time in our body is spent when we're sleeping. So it's very important to get a good 8 hours of sleep. I mean, hey, get more if you can, right? But 8 hours should really be maybe 7, but not any less than that. Okay, that should be what you're getting. None of this 5-hour stuff that some of my patients tell me about. And I'm like, 5 hours, really? Okay, that's not good for you. Okay, it causes a whole host of problems like hormone imbalances, and it doesn't help your body heal when it has pain. All right, so sleep. And then when you wake up, move your body, all right? This is what some of us have turned to saying more than exercise, because exercise tends to be this intimidating word that we don't like. And oftentimes if you have chronic pain, or even if you have an acute injury like a sprain somewhere, you might not want to exercise because it hurts so bad, right? So it's kind of a turn off to say exercise when you're in pain, and everyone just goes, no, thank you, pass. But it's super important to do movement of the body, especially if you have an injury or if you want to prevent injuries, because it gets your circulation going. It nourishes all the tissues of your body way better than if you're just sitting on the couch all day, thinking about how you can't exercise because you're in pain. Right, and then I saw physical therapy come up, right? Very important, definitely. Okay, physical therapy is another great modality for treatment for pain or for recovering from pain or helping your body to do its best job repairing itself so that you're stronger going back out into the world after an injury or a problem happened to you someplace on your body. So a lot of physical therapy might start out being very passive at first. So if you're in too much pain or something's too wrong for you to do active exercises, sometimes they'll do passive exercise on you or passive movements so that they're stretching you, okay? They're moving your body. They're showing you how to then start taking over the muscle control of the stretching and the different exercises. So physical therapy can be a great idea as well. I don't even have that on here. So whoever said that, thank you. Movement. But even just, some of you are not requiring physical therapy or even much chiropractic or acupuncture care. Simply going on a walk every morning would be amazing for your circulation and to help speed the repair in your body. And in Chinese medicine terms, to help work out help free flow any stagnation that's building up in your body, either qi or energy stagnation or blood stagnation itself. You can go on walks every day, and just that alone will help to circulate things in your body that heal and prevent injury and disease. Okay. Ooh, probably can't say that, can you? Okay. Questions. Copaiba soft gels have been wonderful with my aches and pains all over my body. Has been a huge difference for my chronic pain. Thank you for telling us. Yeah. Can you use acupuncture on just the knees? I definitely do acupuncture on a lot of people's knees, yes. In fact, when a new patient comes in and they say their chief complaint is knee pain, I'm like, yes, because knees respond very well to acupuncture very quickly. Okay, acupuncture is great. I'd love to find an acupuncturist who uses oils on me, Robbie said. Where do you live? Are you in California or where are you? I don't know. I feel like you're somewhere where they have lots of acupuncturists, no? What else? Goodness, the soft gels. Yep. Can help with eye twitching. All the above should help with eye twitching because eye twitching tends to be like a qi stagnation issue or something with that circulation is not free flowing and there's an accumulation of tension there. Acupuncture is great for eye twitching too. Frankincense around the eye. Yep. Copaiba around the eye. Just don't get it in the eye, right? Dilute like a tiny, tiny quarter of a drop with coconut oil and put it out way out here, and that should help with eye twitching. What else? Person who has lots of arthritis issues, I will 100% say that walking is the best thing for me. Awesome. That's good to hear. Yep. All over. Place in Atlanta, place in Arizona. Yeah, that's what I thought. You were like in different Atlanta and California. Okay. So yeah, get yourself an acupuncturist, get yourself a chiropractor, get yourself on walks. Okay. Very important. And then supplementation, it can only go so far. So a lot of us supplement with Lifelong Vitality Pack or any other supplements that they're doing that because they know they're not getting all of their nutrients from their food supply. And it's really, really hard to do that these days, at least in modern America. It's really hard to get all of your needed nutrients in a day from only your food alone. So that is for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is our over depleted soil. Okay, our soil, if you compare the nutrient value of 1 carrot now to what 1 carrot had 75 years ago, the nutrient values are much lower, even with organic carrots or whatever you want to do. It's because our soil has been very, very depleted. Genetically modifying our crops has also contributed to that. Not rotating our crops has also contributed to that. All of these things are factors. Obviously, if you're not eating organic food, then all of your pesticide residues and all of the neurotoxins that are bred into your plants and things like that are not good for you and are leading, giving your body more crap that it has to work out on a daily basis, slogging down your systems that could otherwise be giving energy to things like repairing your injuries, etc. So eating real nutrient dense food is a huge, huge important thing that everyone should be trying to work on. That means that you eat foods that look like what they originally were. Okay, so you can hold it and you're like, this is a carrot. I know it's a carrot because it looks like a carrot because it's a carrot. Okay, versus eating something out of a package that's been made in a factory that has a list of ingredients and you don't know what it came from. Okay, that's not helping your body at all. That's giving your body more hard work to do every day to break down all the stuff it doesn't recognize as naturally occurring molecules. It's causing your body to usually retain those particles as extra weight that we carry around, because when something hits your body and your body doesn't know what it is, it's not a naturally occurring molecule, your body will respond in one of two ways. It'll either go, what the heck is this molecule? Emergency, emergency, get it out of me, diarrhea, okay? Or it'll go, what is this synthetic molecule? I don't recognize this. What am I supposed to do with this? It might be hurting you. I'll protect you. And then it tucks it away in your fat cells and stores it for you so it can't hurt you, okay? So you don't want either one of those scenarios, right? You want to eat real foods, nutrient-dense foods, naturally occurring foods, things that when they hit your body goes, I know you. I know exactly what to do with you. I'm going to use you to make new parts, right? And we need that. We need that because not just for injury repair, but we need that on an ongoing daily basis, because all of your cells in your body are auto-programmed from when they were made to die at a certain time, right? And those cells have different lives depending on what part of your body it is. So like red blood cells, white blood cells, different tissues of your body are made out of different kinds of cells. So they're programmed to die after, let's say, 30 days for some, or 60 days for some, or 6 months for some. So after like a year, you're basically a whole new you, right? You've been made, all your cells have auto-died and regenerated based on their individual cell schedule out of the materials that you have given them. So make sure that you're always giving your body a steady supply of good materials or building blocks that it needs to build the new you out of. Okay, that's the summary of that process, right? Oh, hey, Katie. Traveled safe today, I trust. Welcome. And then water. Water is hugely important in any sense of the word. I mean, I can't even begin to summarize why water is so important, but we need to flush things out. We need to make sure our tissue is nourished. We need to help it get rid of all of those bad guys I mentioned earlier, like synthetics and plastic derivative, anything that you ate that needs to get out of you. Water will help that process along. If you get regular pain, especially headaches, drinking more water can sometimes make a huge difference in and of itself in helping to flush toxins from the body, giving your organs more lubrication and nutrients flushing that helps them just work better. So all of these things along the bottom are just additional things that should become a foundation of anybody's life of wellness, your lifestyle of wellness. I didn't highlight water. Let me highlight you, water. All right, so this document does have a second page that I'm not going to show you right now because it's not applicable to you if you do not live in Palos Park or Illinois. Okay, so it's all of our local office information and ordering information for those of you who are local. But anyone who has any questions about how to access any of these things we talked about, obviously, if most of you are already doTERRA members yourselves, we all have the same deal. We all get 25% off everything doTERRA has, which is all of your turmeric oil, your deep blue rub products, copaiba oil, all of the other things that we talked about first. If you are interested in CBD products and you are just like dead set on using them, there are a couple that I think I've vetted and seem to be safe. Again, you know, the percentage might vary each batch, I don't know, but I have a couple of recommendations on those from back in the day. Medical cannabis, it's going to depend on your state. So if you are very, very interested in that, you can look into your own state laws about that. And if you're in Illinois, I can help you answer more specific questions. So you can feel free to contact me with more specific questions about those things if you live by me. Otherwise, I don't know your laws, so you will have to look them up. Okay, so that's it. That's all I'm going to share. Any questions for me that we have not covered? Any questions? It looks like we have like a nice array of people who've tried turmeric, who've tried copaiba, who've tried CBD maybe. Nobody told me they've tried medical cannabis. Very good array of trials out there though. Okay, frankincense, yep. I got all the comments from Facebook for sure. I'm gonna double check the comments in Zoom. Nope, no other questions. Okay, well then everybody, thanks for coming. I hope everybody learned something new about your options for pain management the natural way. You can certainly look into the opioid crisis if you wanna see, you know, the reasons that we are pursuing all of these natural pain relief methods. We certainly have really compelling reasons to be trying to use these natural options instead of the pharmaceutical drugs, simply by looking at the statistics of addiction, particularly for those veterans. They're a huge population who are unfortunately being given tons of opioids and not any other options. So thanks to the VA, we're now seeing veterans have options like acupuncture more and more, yoga more and more. In our state, at least, medical marijuana is more accessible to them. Copaiba is obviously what I've been recommending more to them, but oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. So there's a question I saw pop up. Yes, consistency is a key to relief. Very good. Okay. Question was, please say again the ingredient in copaiba that activates your CB2 receptors. Also, Reiki can assist with that. Yes. Okay, I'm trying to see, can I type it in for you on the Facebook one? Beta care. Okay, I don't know where I can type this. Oh, I can type it right here where you asked it. Okay, so I'm going to type in the active component of copaiba that activates your CB2 receptors. Okay, it's called beta caryophyllene. Typing and talking at the same time is not my strong suit. All right, there it is. I'll type it in on the Facebook one too in case you guys can't see that. But there you go. Yes, copaiba has helped my joint pain tremendously. Great news. Good, because I know you've tried other stuff in the past, so that's awesome. Good. Thanks everybody for coming, and I will get the recording out to you shortly. I'm just trying to double check really quick that I got everybody's questions. If I missed a question, of course, I'll go back and answer it in the chat. Okay. All right. Thanks for coming. Have a great and pain-free day.